Nicole and Richard are doing a presentation from, actually Nicole is the speaker, Richard's assisting her. And she's doing a presentation from Emmanuel. Lee is her evaluator. Lee, what do you know that you can share with us today or what's happening?
Well, since this is going to be a quote-unquote talk show, they will not be making eye contact with us because in the olden days you would sit there and look at your radio. And that's how you were entertained with information. So they're going to give us a talk, but we're going to be watching with our ears, not with our eyes. And so they will not make eye contact with us.
Okay. And the timing of it's going to be
5 to 7 minutes for us to speak and then questions.
and then questions and answers at the end, a couple minutes, right?
Minutes, yeah.
So Caleb, you okay with ready for that?
5 to 7 minutes, yes.
Yeah, 5 to 7 minutes and then a couple minutes at the end for questions and answers. All right, so we're ready to begin. I don't have a title. Anybody have do you have a title for this thing? The Richard and the Nicole and Richard show. And we welcome now to Radio KX Toastmasters, the Nicole and Richard show.
Good morning, Portland. This is Radio AM WRD, your Keep Portland Weird station. This morning we have an interview with a wonderful author of a great best-selling book, currently on the best-selling list, called Poltergeist Love, Relationship Building with Humans and the Undead, Dr. Nicole Payne. Welcome, Dr. Payne.
Hello.
First of all, Dr. Payne, I'd like to welcome you to Portland, and also, first of all, let's talk about a little bit about relationships in general, and we'll get to the distinction between the living and the undead later. Can you talk to me a little bit about relationship building skills and what all that means?
Well, first of all, we had talked a little bit beforehand what a relationship really is. And a relationship can be with anything. A relationship is we are interconnected with everything on this planet. So it depends on what kind of relationship you're wanting to build. If you're wanting to cleanse the land and get it healed, that's a relationship type of building thing. If you're wanting to interact with individuals, there are excellent books out there about skill building, learning how to speak with yourself. First, I really believe you need to build a relationship with yourself, and then you can build relationships with others.
Relationship with yourself, that's a very interesting concept, Dr. Payne. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Do people have problems in having relationships with themselves?
Oh yes, definitely. People have bitterness issues where they hate themselves, and I've done some research on spiritual root causes behind illnesses, and one of the reasons people have severe weight gain is because there's things in their DNA that they don't like themselves, and so when you don't like yourself, you have a harder time interconnecting with other people or things.
What about the spiritual realm that you just mentioned? Talk to me a little bit about the spiritual realm.
Well, that's kind of a big realm. We are all spirit beings in a body. So everything was created, was voice activated, and it was created through spirit. So everything starts in the spirit realm before it comes to the natural realm.
Did you grow up in some particular religious arena, or did you discover the spiritual world on your own?
Well, that's kind of interesting because my mother was a Baptist and my father was a Mormon, and he was a very spiritual person. There was, he was involved, and he had a friend who would talk to the dead regularly. He opened portals. So there were just some interesting dynamics there. But I have a mother who's very spiritual in a different way. My father was spiritual. My mother's more spiritual in a good way. My father was more spiritual in a bad way.
I see. Baptists and Mormons. What are portals?
Portals. Well, that is an interesting concept. They're kind of like what you would call wormholes, like you would watch on the Stargate SG-1. They're like wormholes. They take you to other dimensions, other planets, back to the heaven. They can take you to the second heavens, the first heavens. There's all different kinds of things. That portals are a transportation type of tube.
Very good, very good. Can you tell me a little bit about some of your spiritual friends? Your friend spirits, or some Would it be accurate to call them the undead?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
I don't speak to the undead.
No. Okay.
That's not something I normally do. I haven't had an undead spirit form show up in my house. I have had demons I've dealt with.
Oh, okay. And they show up in your house?
Oh, they show up all over the place. You can see demons walking down the street. There's wandering spirits. There's all sorts of things.
So we really live in a very cosmopolitan universe. With
Basically.
all sorts of living, and visible, and invisible beings everywhere. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, well tell me a little bit about the skills necessary to make contact through these portals to the spirit world.
Well, you want to be careful when you're doing things like that. First of all, you have to, it's kind of like learning how to drive a car. You just don't put a baby behind the steering wheel of a car to drive a car anywhere. So you have to know what spirit realm you're wanting to contact. And you have to know when you contact that, what you're dealing with. Because you can accidentally stumble on a portal and have things look through that portal at you, and it can be very freaky. So you've got to know what you're dealing with. You've got to be able to decipher what is good and what is bad.
How well I understand that. I've tripped over a few portals myself. Okay, maybe you could just enliven our audience a little bit with a horror story. Did you ever tell us about one of your worst portal experiences?
Well, that was kind of an interesting situation. I don't exactly know what was going on, but I had opened somehow, some way, a portal in my home, and there were creatures and things looking through it. And it was kind of like you would look through a plastic bag in a bubble and you see this like head. And it was quite scary at first. But I've had more encounters, dealing with demons or wandering spirits or angels or things like that.
Very good. I recently saw a movie called John Dies in the Inn about exactly this subject, and it's a mainstream Hollywood movie. It's very interesting. Have you seen it?
No, I don't believe I have.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I just thought that was a remarkable thing. Well, tell me, are there places to meet spirits? Something like there's spirits single bars or bus stops, or where do you go to meet people?
Well, you can go to metaphysics fairs, but I haven't heard of a spirit bar. But I do know in heaven there are bars where the angels hang out with people, and they do get drunk in the spirit.
Do they?
Yes.
They get drunk in the spirit.
Yes. Cat
Very
Kerr
good.
talks a little bit about that.
Who does, please?
Cat Kerr.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
St. Augustine mentioned that a great deal. That was a big theme in the Neoplatonic world, being drunk with the spirit. It's
Yes.
very common.
It's very fun.
You just seldom hear it discussed much on the New York bestseller list. Very good. All right. Well, what? Perhaps we should go now to the questions from our audience. I'm inviting the audience out there listening to call us at 503-358-4652. We are on the air live right now, and we would love for you to ask some questions of the spirit expert with our station this morning, Dr. Nicole Payne. Do we hear any calls? Hello, welcome to Radio WERD AM. What's your name, sir?
My name is John.
John.
First time caller.
Thank you.
Long time listener.
Long time listener. Excellent, John. What question do you have for Dr. Payne?
I was wondering, when Dr. Payne was talking about the spirits and them coming to their house, why are they there? What is their purpose?
Well, it would depend on the situation. For example, there can be, if a spirit had been raped, a child had been raped, and there was residue left of that, and the house had not been cleansed of that, because we are all vibrational patterns, and we can leave vibrational patterns into the wall. And so what you would do is to remove that spirit, or that vibrational pattern that's there, is you would remit sins. You would ask for forgiveness, and you would cleanse it, and you would speak healing to that.
Interesting. Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you, Dr. Payne. I'm a ham radio operator, and I think about the vibrational patterns a lot. Do we have any other callers this morning for Radio WERD? Keep Portland Weird Station. Hello.
Hello, it's Karen, first time caller again. I wanted to ask, are there things that someone can do to protect themselves from having things come through portals that they don't really want to have a relationship or even talk to?
Well, that is kind of a situation where you're not quite sure what you would need to protect from. It's basically keeping yourself clean and knowing when things attach to you, how to get rid of it. For example, I could walk down the street and something could attach to me based on what has gone on in my DNA history, my DNA pattern lines, and it is to say I choose to release this. I had been working in a conference with someone, and there was a spirit that was left behind the walls, and it attached to me, and I almost ran a red light, and I had to shake it off and say, you cannot attach to me. So it's knowing your authority and taking your authority.
Okay, Dr. Payne, you know, this is the end of the year. There's a lot of high holidays for various religious groups. All of them have a relationship with an unseen being. Some Christians, some Buddhists, pagans, all sorts of folks. Is this in the realm that you're talking about here? Are we talking about the same type of thing? Christians, well, Christians that talk to Jesus, Jews talk to Elijah and other prophets or something. Is this the same type of thing?
Well, no. Each thing is, each deity is different.
So the poltergeists that you meet periodically, are they what we call
I don't
deities?
meet poltergeists.
You don't
usually.
meet-
I see them.
You see them.
And sometimes, a lot of times I just ignore what I see.
You know, poltergeists get a bad reputation. The name sounds right. Do we have any other callers this morning? Welcome to WRD, Key Portland Weird Station.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Hillary. I'm a first-time caller also. I want to know what the bottom line of what it is that you would like us to know about this. What do you want us to do or take away or by your research and your work?
To be very wise into what you contact. Be wise in where you place yourself, in what you do, in what spirits you call and what spirits you don't. Make sure that you're centering yourself in the right. I personally live it by this. I talk to the spirit of truth who will lead in the way of life. And so to me, it's focusing on the spirit of truth that's leading you to peace, leading you to life, leading you to joy. And if it's leading you to anything other than peace, then it's not good.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Payne. This is Radio WERD, Portland, Oregon, your Keep Portland Weird station. And now for a word from our sponsor.
Hey.